Back in the days, I had AI. I could have done a couple of more seasons, created a lot more art.
I think it's a fabulous tool to have at your disposal. Just have a laptop with you and nothing is impossible.
Intel, please note.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for showing up on a Sunday at IFP Intel Core Ultra, powered by Rob and Kabir today. We are here for a great session on AI practices in future, how is it impacting us, and there is no better way of spending this afternoon. Kabir, we've all seen your work. We're all big fans of your work. Intel got you a laptop a few days ago just to experiment on AI. How has that been? What all did you do? Did you make something cool, really cool? Would you like to share something with everyone?
It was genuinely a lot of fun because what happens is as a director, as you know, we sort of call the captain of the ship. That's because we don't do any work ourselves. We just keep telling people to do work. So whatever I need to do in films, there are people trained professionals who do the job for you and show the output. And all I have to do is okay, this one, this one, this one. Is basically the job of making the picking up the what you think is the best. But when I finally got this Intel AI PC, and I got this brief that why don't you play around with it and try and. It was a lot of fun. I tried to create mock posters and say if I can do it without like giving a brief to my storyboard artist or my poster designer. I tried to put in some prompts for some story ideas and see what comes up. So it was like a boy with a toy, really. I just like spent a lot of time doing that. I do a lot of still photography. That's something that I never delegate. That's something which is my passion. So I tried, seeing what I can do with my photographs using AI tools. And there's so much. Once you get started, you realize you haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg. So then I sort of retreated and I said, okay, I'll leave it to the professionals.
Tell us one AI tool that you used over and over again in the last few days.
On this the PC or generally what I use
Generally.
So I think AI has sort of come into every aspect of our work. I think cinema is something where we are using AI tools in almost every single department. And what it really does, it saves a lot of time. Now, one aspect that I've been using it a lot in is, when you're doing very complicated sequences, like typically action sequences or sports sequences, as in 83, in Chandu Champion, there were a lot. So what really helps is storyboarding and creating a sort of a visual reference for the whole team to follow. That AI has really helped. I mean, what would take days, literally at the end of the day, I would at best probably be able to get 10, 12, 15 frames from a storyboard artist. I can get like hundreds in an hour. So that's really become and it's pretty fast in the way I can change it around. Say, okay, no, don't give me this background. Put mountains behind. Let's see how it looks like. And it just happens in seconds. So I've been using a lot of that now. It helps me communicate with my team and my sort of HODs in a much clearer way.
Amazing.
I'll just jump in and I'll talk about storyboarding. I also use, AI to storyboard some of my, because I shoot a lot of video content myself. But fun fact, when I started not even started my career, when I was in art school, you do these odd jobs to make some extra money, pocket money, get experience. So I used to go to advertising agencies because I was also studying advertising. And because I was good at illustration, I would do a lot of storyboarding work for them. And it was exactly like this. When you sit down and you have done a storyboard, and then the director would come and say, this is a bike one, but I want the road to be like this, add a couple of more trees, this shot should have. And then I had to redo the thing, and you'd spend another 10 minutes, and then 10 more frames. And when you're doing 100 frames in a night, you start at 8 in the morning, all right, and you're there all night till the next day. And now with AI coming into the picture, when I'm sitting with my team and I have to do storyboards, it just takes like few minutes and I'm done. So it does save a lot of time, and I enjoy that aspect of it a lot, because then you can focus on doing other stuff. All these menial jobs are done.
Rob, one question for you. So I've been looking at you on the television from like forever, right? So you don't age, but the ages have changed since then. So my question to you is, when you started out, like, what is your origin story? How did you get into art? Because, say, for you in filmmaking, AI can be an accessory. But for your where you come from and the career that you're in, AI is actually hampering the actual output of it. So first, I want to know your origin story. What kind of softwares or what kind of stuff that you actually started out with, and how have you seen that evolution till now, where AI has come into your picture?
Yeah, my origin story starts with like this deep forest where an asteroid hit. No, I was always interested in art, and at that time, obviously, we didn't have the technology that we have now. So for most of us, there wasn't enough exposure to fully understand what you can do or the possibilities are. Um, and I started my career with very little knowledge of, but full passion of what I wanted to do. Um, and it was great, man. Like, and got an opportunity to create a television show that was loved by everyone, where I could encourage people to be more creative. And at that time, there was no AI, so we would spend a lot of time working on original ideas, creating these mock-ups and prototypes, so that when we are on the studio floor and we have to actually shoot, we don't spend too much time on discussions and so we had to do a lot of pre-production. But now, it's become so much easier. Like, I'll give you an example because I used to do a lot of these big art installations. So when I used to sit down with my production team and I had to tell them, hey, I'm making this 30-foot dinosaur and I'm making it out of automobile parts, and I need an auto rickshaw sliced into half for the body, and I need like an auto part, like a back of a scooter for the head and bike tanks for the legs. I mean, I know what it will look like when it'll all come together. But the guys are sitting there going, okay, now, but what do you mean by this part, and where will you place it, and how many? So I had to actually sit down and create all of that, either pen on paper or using Photoshop and render it. And I would spend a lot of time just doing that, creating all these things so that I can give it to them and they can source all these materials. But now all that happens within seconds, man. You just have to alter the prompts a little bit, and I get something that is closer to my vision. Even though that's not my final output, but that's good enough to share with the team and tell them this is what you need to get so that I can put it together and assemble it. So if back in the days I had AI, I could have done a couple of more seasons, created a lot more art.
Made a lot more money. But one question to both of you. From the last 5 years, say if I go back to 2018, when insurgence of AI was way lesser, to now 2024, where it has surpassed in every field, how has it influenced you in practicality? Like, what are the tools that you've started using now, and how has it simplified or made your life more efficient?
I think there's been a huge. See, for me, it's also AI has come into a lot of departments which I probably didn't even realize when it happened, right? And going forward, that's going to be more and more of AI helping me, especially in the just the menial jobs. Like an edit, for example. For those of you who are filmmakers or are wanting to be filmmakers, we know that when you come back from a shoot, the it takes a lot of time to sort the shots according to the scene, the shot number, the okay takes, the NG takes, then put it what we call as a lineup, an assembly of shots. It can take a month or two to do that, whereas AI will probably do it in 2 hours. And the work really begins after the assembly, because the film is never really what you've gone and shot according to script and then you just put it together. The film is not ready. The work really begins after that, when you start sort of chipping away at frames and the whole balance and the rhythm of what we call of an edit. So AI is going to help me majorly in that. AI is helping me enormously without my knowledge of exactly how in VFX. Because I can see from the films I used to do 10 years ago to now, the speed with which I see changes in VFX. Like earlier, if I wanted something changed in AI, in the VFX, I said, oh, I didn't want it like this, I want it like this. He said, okay, I'm going to come back to you. I know this guy is gone for the next 10 days and I'm going to see it 10 days later. Today, they come back in 24 hours, and say, okay, here it's done. Do you want it like this? So there's so many processes. Even, I mean, for me, actually, the one thing that my DOP, Sudeep Chatterjee, and I keep talking about, despite all these great technological advancements in cinema, the one simplest thing that still can't, we can correct everything. We can even correct bad acting. But we cannot correct an out of focus shot. And that's something that just I get confused. I said, why can't we have like an AI tool in the camera, show the face of the, actor and say, okay, this is Ranveer Singh. Camera, never lose focus of this man. And just keep following. So, these are things, and I'm sure it'll happen.
Intel, please note.
Yeah.
For you, Rob.
Yeah, it's pretty similar, like what I mentioned earlier, whether it's storyboarding or creating mock-ups and doing my prototypes, also experimenting with different materials, because I use a lot of different materials to create my art. So just testing it out of, if I put this material together, like if this whole sculpture is made out of paper, and I created, instead of spending time putting it together to see and making a small miniature prototype, now I can test it on a machine and see how it will look like if I put, like a prompt like this and put these materials together, how the light will work on that, whether I need to create an armature around it and stuff. So there it helps me a lot. It does save a lot of time. And again, it's easier to communicate with my team and show them what my vision is visually. So yeah, it helps me there a lot.
I mean, see, for both of you are sort of at a boss level where you have people executing stuff for you. Have you seen a cost difference since AI has entered your life? Has it made things cheaper to do? Has it made things more expensive? So earlier, if you were doing VFX or if you were, say, animating something, you would outsource it to a bigger studio. They would take like months and months of time and get back to you. Have you seen cost differences happening immediately in your work life?
I mean, if you were to view this through the prism of time and say time is money, then of course, because the first principal saving that you're having because of AI is time, and definitely time is money. So I would say yes, it definitely helps us in budgets. Of course, there are other sort of things that happen with AI because technology becomes more expensive. So something that you were being charged a certain amount would now you be charging more because they have that AI tool. So all that ultimately, whether it sort of cuts down on my VFX budget or not, I don't know. But if you were to just simply look at time, which is a huge saving, if I'm able to cut down a few weeks, months in my post production, that would definitely save me money.
Yeah, similar, and my projects are not as big as Kabir's, but still, like there are certain places that you can save money. Like if I am doing something where I need to record like a lot of like VO, I don't need to go to a sound studio anymore. I can record it on my device, use AI to filter that sound. It sounds exactly like recorded in a studio space. If I have to do certain projects, I don't need to go to a VFX studio and hire people to do that. I can do it on my machine, in my own studio. So definitely it helps you when you're working on, and wherever you can save money, you can use that money to do other work. So AI definitely helps in those spaces a lot.
Is there any project that you would like to redo using like AI to your benefit? Like say the Forgotten Army.
Actually, what where it would really help me save time is actually 83. People don't know because unfortunately in our country we tend to look at VFX and recognize VFX when it's only in your face. So if like there's a pink dragon flying at you, you think, oh, this is VFX. But people don't realize there are 3,500 VFX shots in 83. People don't realize it because meant to look real. So it's what we call invisible VFX. Because those stadiums don't exist anymore where these people are shooting. Those kind of stands don't exist. So every shot in 83 where people are playing cricket is like 6 layers coming through in VFX. That with AI tools would really save me a lot of time and money. And it'd be much easier for me to go through that process because, out of those 6 layers, even if I have to change one, it would take a lot of time. Today, I think it'll be much faster. So yeah, that a very VFX intensive film is what I would love to redo with AI.
In all your films or just 83?
83 is the most VFX intensive one, so that's why I was picking that. But otherwise, yeah. In Kabul Express, I didn't even know what VFX is. It was literally like somebody told me, "Iske piche hum mountain laga sakte hain." I said, "Really? Kaise lagaoge?" So that's I was still learning. It was, I mean, for all of us, we still learn with every film, right? But 83 was a very VFX intensive one. So that's the one I would choose if I was to sort of redo and save time.
Nice.
And you, Rob?
Like I use AI mostly for my pre-production work, where I am just working on my mock-ups and prototypes and storyboarding and things like that. I would probably just use it to save more time, because my process will be
But
way easier and
you
smoother.
wouldn't want to change the output based on
Yeah,
AI.
yeah.
You'll still use
My
it as
final
an
output is
assistant.
never, yeah, generated with AI. It's just like my initial stages of just creating, like just coming to your, like if you have like a design route in mind, then you can just explore using the AI tools to see how it would look like, and then you can work on your final vision and create the output. So just testing it out with AI is where what I use it for, and it saves me a lot of time. So like I said earlier, if I had AI back then I would have done a lot more artworks, a lot more art installation, a lot more seasons of my show.
Does AI scare you? Like for general artists, illustrators, it's a big scare that my industry is going to diminish. People are going to pay lesser and lesser as AI becomes more perfect. Does it scare you both?
No, I don't think so. And that I mean, we discussed this when we were talking about. See, it happens every few years. Like people thought when television came into the scene, they said, "Oh, this is gonna kill radio," and then internet came and digital platforms came, and they said, "This is gonna kill TV." That didn't happen, And now AI has come into the picture, and it's a great assistant. It has some great tools, and now people think that this is going to kill the rest of the industry, the artists, designers, we don't need them. But I don't think that's going to happen, because with AI, obviously, you need human intervention. That is there. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, only time will tell. But going back to like people who were on the radio, they moved. The RJs became VJs. The VJs have now their own channels and platforms to still make the content that they want to do. If you have this skill set, you also evolve. As the technology is evolving, you also evolve. And you move to the next platform and take advantage of the technology that is available. So I'm sure that there will be some jobs that will be completely obsolete, but there will be a lot more new job openings, or and yeah, I don't think so. I don't feel like, because I feel the computer here is way faster and better than the tech that I have in my machine. So I don't feel threatened by it.
You, Kabir?
I completely and totally agree with Rob. But I don't look at it at all as something that one needs to be scared of. I think it's a great tool. It's a great asset. You need to know how to use it and use it to your advantage. It's like, why would I be scared as a creator of having a tool that saves me time, that enables me to communicate better with my team, enables me to think of bigger visuals, and I know I can attain it because there's AI to assist me. So not at all. I think it's a very exciting tool to. It's like having a great first AD. And of having a first AD who's able to do everything, I'd be excited, right? Wow, I have this fabulous assistant who can do so much for me. I would look at AI similarly, and I don't think anything can ever replace the human brain. There's that little difference that I don't think AI would be able to fill that gap.
So I'm gonna just dilute this with another question, which is based on fear. So a lot of artists are fearful that their styles are like as soon as you put your work out, it's getting modeled. The AI is modeling itself over your work, and eventually, say in a few years, if someone could prompt it out, make a film in Kabir Khan style, and it actually is pretty close to your style. Is that something that puts some sort of fear or inhibition towards AI in you?
Not at all. Because I mean, see, this is already happening. Already, you have tools where you can like put in a famous, director or photographer's name and say like, grade this film according to the aesthetics of that DOP. It's never the same. It's close, and you want to come close, great. It's flattery if somebody's trying to come close to you. But there's I don't think you can fully 100%. I'm like, it's like, when we are having that conversation, I said, if we were to feed in 20 scripts of Salim Javed into a, computer and say, process it and bring out a script like Salim Javed, it won't happen. And before AI, I've heard this, like, at the end of the day, human intelligence is also a very advanced thing. And I've had these meetings, I remember, with corporates who have told me how, we've analyzed, 100 films, we've broken it down, we know exactly what works, we've seen the trends. And those corporates have gone on to make the most historical duds with all that information. because it's that X factor in any creation, in any art that you can never capture. Nobody here in this room can ever predict which film will work and which film will not work, because it's that X factor that you don't know, are you going to like it or not till you see it? And the creator will not know. As creators, we make things that, I mean, I make films that I like to watch, and then I keep my fingers crossed that I hope a lot of people like the films I like to watch. So I feel, no, we'll never get replaced.
But for you, Rob, because see, his is a filming style. Yours is more, say, for example, if I take artists like Keith Haring or Basket, their works have been like completely ripped off in terms of style, right? It's easy to replicate their art. Do you also have that fear that tomorrow your style, and not just for you, I'm sure there are a lot of other peers that you have or your contemporaries that have a very distinct style, like say Shantanu has a very distinct style, and in future, if people are able to prompt it out and replicate it at will, is that something that puts, because you've also invested like a decade of hard work or maybe more in building that style, so is that something?
No, I do agree with what Kabir said, but also feel that you are right that a lot of artists or illustrators, because they spend years and years to create this signature style of this is what my art will look like, and if somebody is just blatantly copying it, you won't like it. I mean, it does happen in like where people will make a film and they'll say this is my Kabir style, whatever. People make art and say, oh, I did it in Rob's style. So I mean, it's flattering to see that people are. But you also see or hear, and I completely understand when people say, like AI is learning exactly how I create my art, and then people are just putting a prompt and you're getting these artworks made in like Keith Haring style or Van Gogh or Picasso within seconds. And if people are monetizing that, then I feel it's a little unethical. But then again, like we discussed earlier, that you have to evolve, and this technology is sort of here to stay. And how can you even, I mean, get away from this? Like your phones are listening to you, like everyone, like your devices know where you're going, what you're eating, what you're buying. So all the information is there, right? And it is absorbing everything. So I don't know if you can avoid it. Um, but yeah, and my style is a little varied because I do digital stuff, but I also do animation, I also do illustration, I also do installation, so I don't feel that AI can replicate everything that I do because there are a lot of different things that I do. But I can totally understand why some people fear that, this is happening and they're not very happy with it.
Just to add to that, see, it's also about how all of us as consumers of art, how are we approaching that? Okay, maybe there is AI might be able to create something exactly the way you've done it, right? But will I get that rush
Yeah.
knowing that AI has done it versus when I see you've created it?
Yeah.
It's because that's going to give me the thrill, right? I know that, okay, if I given the prompts, there will be an image that AI will generate today in probably in 2 minutes. That will be like a Henri Cartier-Bresson, decisive moment. But will it give me the thrill and the joy that when I'm actually seeing a Henri Cartier-Bresson photograph and I say, this man actually stood there, waited for this moment, pressed the shutter, when this happened, that's giving me the thrill. So it's about ultimately how you're consuming it and where. So if somebody wants Rob-like art to just probably put a poster somewhere, great, they can do that. But does somebody want to keep it because it gives them the joy that art is supposed to give them? The AI will never give you that joy.
Correct. I agree.
One question, I'm sure there are a lot of people in the audience that want to work with Rob and Kabir. Will using AI in their work profiles, in their work, just body of work, help them towards getting hired? Is your decision on of hiring someone based on how good they are with AI, or how much of AI do they know, how much of AI do they utilize?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if somebody is good with using AI as a tool, it will be a great advantage to them as a assistant director. But obviously, if they're going to try and pass off AI work as their own creation, then that's a big no-no. So again, it's a question of how, you can be good with AI, but how are you using it? If you're using it as a tool, and you can come to me and say that, sir, just give me the prompts. What are the visuals you want? I'll generate them in 2 hours and bring them to you. I'm saying, super. I'm going to hire this person. But so I think it's a great skill to learn because going forward, we are going to be using AI in right from pre-production till post-production. So getting more adept at being able to use the AI tools, I think, would be a fabulous qualification for ADs. Just don't try and present it as your own work, because that would like piss off people.
Yeah, I agree. As long as they have the ability to think of original ideas and then use AI as a tool to present them, great. Come. If you can save me time and help me out, I already have AI as an assistant and I have another smart assistant to help me. Why not? But yeah, don't be just dependent on this and not have this computer working. So
Amazing. And now I want to talk about democratization. Say, filmmaking earlier was a team's job. Now it's because of AI has sort of started becoming a much leaner team. Because you can double up as an editor, you can be the cinematographer. Do you think having a cheaper equipment in terms of, or like a reasonable equipment hinders you from producing high quality stuff? Say if someone is basing their filmmaking in AI fully, they're using Chat GPT to bring out the story, they're using Runway ML to bring out the visuals, and they make sense of it. Like they can make a good story out of it. Do you think it is commercially viable for AI right now to put out art like that? Like, can someone with a laptop, like Intel Core Power Ultra laptop, put out a film and can be represented well at a festival like Cannes or Sundance?
I'm sure. See, it's a new ground that's being created. So I'm not. So when I see it, I will see it from that perspective. I will see it. Oh, somebody is so good with using the tools that is available today in a laptop that they can actually create a whole cinema out of this. Superb. But I'll approach that cinema differently from a cinema that's been actually physically been shot on location by people, by cameras. So I think they're going to become two different art forms. Whether will they interchange and will they sort of be either this or that? No, that won't happen. I think it'll just be a further sort of segmentation within cinema, within art. To it's like digital art, right?
like a
There are people who
category
are
of
doing
sorts.
digital art.
Yeah,
There are people who taking paint to the canvas and painting it. I'm not going to compare the two.
yeah.
For me, that's a different art form, and this is a different art form.
Correct. Like someone paints realistic portraits as opposed to somebody clicking a picture. Now, both look realistic, and maybe the one that is painted looks so good that it looks like a photograph. But you know, this is a painting and this is a photograph. So they're two different categories. So with AI, similar. But it's very exciting that we live in an age where just using your phone, using a laptop that is powered by AI, you can do so much, whether it's design, whether it's film, and you can create. And everyone has the ability to do that, and that is amazing because everyone has the same set of tools now, same kind of resources, and the same number of hours. So nothing can stop you. Like if you have great ideas, don't sit on it and make something and share it with the world. And that's beautiful.
I think for young filmmakers or budding filmmakers, it's a fabulous tool to have your disposal on your laptop, because you can actually, without spending too much money, go and make a film, and you can always present it and say that this is completely generated by AI. Because see, anyway, when somebody is presenting a short film to me to judge their work, I'm not judging you on the cinematography and the sound design. I'm actually judging you on your storytelling. Because I know short films come with a certain budgetary constraint. You can never match up to the big films that, with the big budgets. So I'm looking at a storyteller. Now that storyteller can come to me with a film shot on an iPhone, film shot with expensive cameras on great locations, or completely AI generated. Ultimately, I'm looking at the story. Did this person capture my imagination with the way they've told the story? I'm not going to get seduced by the visuals and the lighting. That's a given. At a certain stage of filmmaking, we know that's a given. We will give you the best DOPs, the best editors. Can you just capture me with your storytelling? So I think it's a fabulous tool to have at your disposal. Just have a laptop with you, and there's just, nothing is impossible.
Okay, now I have a closing question before we head to like a little demo of what all AI can do. Kamir, imagine now in a few years, all actors have made AI avatars of themselves. You have an Amitabh Bachchan avatar. Now you get two choices. You can work, either you can pay the whole amount and call them for your film, or you can pay a lesser amount and get their AI version. So I'm gonna take the names of the actors. You're gonna tell me which one would you work with, AI one or the real one? So Anil Kapoor.
He won't allow you. He is already on it.
I think he's already put some
He's fighting a case.
legal limitations over there, so I'll have to take the original for that.
Amitabh Bachchan.
Um, Amitabh Bachchan, I would completely want original all the way through.
Salman Khan.
On a 9 o'clock shift till 2 o'clock, I'll take AI, and after 2, I'll take Salman.
Saif Ali Khan.
A hybrid. You know,
Kareena Kapoor.
completely, purely, physically there on set.
Janvi Kapoor.
Again, a hybrid.
Aishwarya Rai.
Oh my God, the list can. Actually, I think a hybrid is the best option for all of them. Because, there are some.
Guys,
there
Kabir has decided to be diplomatic. This question is done.
No, because I think hybrid is good because every star comes with certain trappings, right? And sometimes, not with everybody, sometimes a bit of time is wasted on set because of just getting that energy in place before you can start. So I think the AI version should come and set the ball rolling, and then the real person can walk in and we can continue.
And I mean, anyway, you do it with like dubbing and stuff, no? When the stars or the actors are busy, then you get someone who like, and there are a lot of people who can do Amitabh Bachchan's voice. And then if he's busy doing another project, you anyways use someone else to fill in. So
No,
there's
actually,
certain
we anyway do
sections.
that. You're absolutely right. We've already, for more than 10 years, we've been using face replacement. So already we are in a certain, face replacement is also in a certain way an AI assisted tool that's come in, right? So we're already using AI versions of our actors. And going forward, actually, it also depends not only just the actor. I mean, to actually address that question in a serious way, it also means what you're doing. Suppose I have one of these actors and I have to shoot uh, on top of a mountain. Now, I wouldn't want to take Mr. Bachchan to the top of the mountain, but I can take the AI clone to the mountain. So I think it'll also become it'll free us up with the logistical problems that we face with actors. Oh, this person can't go. Like apparently Tom Cruise has some logistical issue in his contract that he has to be within half an hour of the hotel or wherever he's staying has to be within half an hour of the location. But with the AI generated Tom Cruise, I could be 6 hours away, and do that. So I think it'll really help in just freeing us up with the logistical constraints of filmmaking.
Okay, before we close, I heard one of you had a film that they were trying to make, right? Who was it? Or do a lot of them? So today is like your golden chance. Kabir and Rob and I help you gonna design a poster for your film on AI. So if you could just run to the stage, tell us what your film is about, and then we'll quickly come up with like a poster. Guys, one round of applause there. Come on. Hi. What's your name? This is Arushi, guys. This is Stuti. Come. Tell us about your film.
Well, it's a mother-daughter road trip which takes place from California to Howard because the daughter just got into Howard. But they plan it spontaneously overnight. And the reason why they do that, I need to breathe, is what we discover on the road trip. It deals with complicated dynamics that we all share with our parents, mothers and fathers. And it is a South Asian immigrant family story in California. So we explore the dichotomy of cultures that still exists.
Amazing. Now Kabir sir is help you gonna shape the concept of it up, and Rob is gonna help you shape the visuals of it.
What's like the first visual that comes to your mind? You got like a representative visual of the journey.
So I have shot some photos.
Oh, you have?
I did shoot some photos, but the idea was to have a car showing the separation between the mother and the daughter because they don't get along. But now they're stuck on this new chapter in their life that they're heading towards. So the car is a vehicle for them to get along, but it's also driving them towards a new life. So it's the car, and it's both of the mother and the daughter.
Just two of them, right?
It's just two of them, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so you should probably what? Like do like a. You want to do like a close shot of the side? Yeah, like inside of and the car. And see the behind as the road journey sort of happens. So have them sitting in the driver's seat and the passenger seat, yet sort of both of them looking a little away from each other. Or should we make it?
You guys can't hear it, but they're having like an intense discussion.
So would you prefer the cameras like close and they're like closer to the camera? It's like the camera's on the hood of the car, and they're both. So the one of them is on the passenger seat, one of them is driving, and they're sort of not looking forward. They're looking at in different directions, and in behind through the back screen we can see like a road retreating behind, so it gives the whole feel of a road journey.
I think that would be
Give your
I think that's very generic. Like I've already, my shot is like that.
like a
I've
difficult one. Tough to please, I tell you.
Damn.
So I have this still image of like the car being on the road, and then they're standing outside the car, and they're just like, what are we doing? How are you going to handle each other and drive, without driving each other nuts?
Okay, let's make it.
so the two of them standing on either side of the car. Mother and the daughter are standing on either side of the car. And you want like a road going behind to signify the road journey, or you want any other specific terrain, or
And they're in the middle of the road, and you can see the road going in the distance, like till the horizon.
This is great. Love it. Thank you.
Thank
Round
you
of
so
applause.
much, guys.
Thank you so much for your help as well.
Thanks a lot to Intel Core Ultra.
see, for me, it's also AI has come into a lot of departments which I probably didn't even realize when it happened.
With AI coming into the picture, when I'm sitting with my team and I have to do storyboards, it just takes like few minutes and I'm done.